The Z Flips have always been cool, but lacking in major ways. This year, the Z Flip 6 is a phone that I would recommend to many different people. It's a compact phone that's bigger on the inside, and it makes you think, who is this vast little phone for? In your everyday experience with this phone, you can expect to enjoy carrying it around. It easily slips in and out of pockets, and it doesn't argue with other devices or objects for more real estate. It's happy to coexist alongside your life and be there when you need it. What I'm saying is that folded, it becomes the size of your wallet, but unfolded, it's the size of a normal smartphone. Beyond that, it's pretty light despite how big the inside screen is, and with the new design, it's quite nice to hold and look at. The inside screen is almost the size of other big phones like the iPhone 15 Pro Max or the Galaxy S24 Ultra, but it is slightly slimmer, which makes it easier to reach across the display and use with one hand. The outer screen is there for quick uses like checking the time, glancing over notifications, and even quick usage sessions like Googling the answer to a question or responding to messages. Being a Samsung device, you can customize this phone to fit your own desires inside out. The cover screen has a bunch of widget options, and with the app called Good Lock, you gain the ability to use any app on your phone on this outer display. It won't fit all apps well, but some of my favorite uses for this are scrolling on Reddit, browsing the internet, checking my email, responding to messages, and typing a quick note. It's a clever way to disconnect and not use your phone as much, but still be connected to a smaller degree if needed. Looking at the average experience you get from this phone, it's pretty close to a normal Samsung flagship. The software is very robust and customizable like previously mentioned, and it has a bunch of cool features if you're willing to explore them. For the home screens, you got widget stacks, transparent widgets, custom folder colors, custom grid sizes, and so much more. For multitasking, you have the Edge panel, which allows you to set a bunch of apps aside so that you can quickly access them, and from here you can launch them normally or in split screen or floating windows with minimal effort. The Edge panel also allows for app folders and quick launching into split screen just by tapping an app. Going further with multitasking, you can swipe with 2 fingers from the bottom of the screen for a quick split screen, swipe from the top right for floating windows, and you can also drag a notification into split screen or floating windows very quickly. When you're in these multitasking modes, you can easily swap which app you're using and adjust the size of the windows as you need them. You can save your split screen sessions as app pairs in the layout that they're in, especially if you know that these are 2 apps that you're going to use frequently together or just use them again in that same layout. App pairs allow you to start a multitasking session very quickly, all with just one tap. Going back to the Edge panel, there are other panels that you can add to it that might be useful for you. First is the People tab to access contacts very quickly, which you can customize with contacts of your choice. Then you have the Task tab where you can add many different shortcuts to useful functions like adding a new contact, viewing recent files on your phone, or searching your calendar for specific events and reminders. Next is the Weather tab for a quick view of the weather, and after that you have the Tools panel, which is one of the most underrated features of these Samsung phones in my opinion. In this panel you have access to cool everyday tools like a compass, a tally counter, an adjustable flashlight, a surface leveler, and even a ruler that swaps between inches and centimeters. The Z Flip is already one of the most versatile phones out there, so this just takes it to another level in my eyes. The next panel is the Reminder panel where you can just add quick reminders, but you can do that with the Task panel anyway, so it's kind of redundant. But the last panel is a clipboard panel where you can see text and maybe photos that you've copied recently, and you can just either copy and paste them as you would. It's pretty useful if you need to get a password or email or something like that pretty often. To close this part of the video about the Edge panel, you can also change the color, opacity, and the size of the tab that you swipe from to access the Edge panel. You can also change where it's located by tapping and holding and then drag it to wherever you want on the phone screen. I keep it where it's easy for my right thumb to reach while still avoiding getting in the way of the back swipe gestures. Alright, let's move on now. Some of the other cool features that I like using on the Z Flip 6 are website summarization in Samsung Internet. This is probably the AI feature that I use the most because it saves you the time of reading through these poorly written articles that say the same information over and over again. Flex Mode panel is the next one that I use. You can use this with any app, but it basically turns your Z Flip 6 into an ultra small laptop, giving you a trackpad and various controls. It's not the most practical for most situations, but it's actually pretty nice to use for precise inputs at an angle when you're feeling lazy and you're leaning over on your arm or something like that. The next feature is opening the phone to answer a call and then closing it to end the call. This is basically a throwback to when flip phones were the main kind of phone that people had back in the day. And then I kind of already mentioned these features right here, but I really enjoy using split screen and using the external screen with the main cameras. Split screen on this phone is so easy to use at any moment and just allows me to get the most out of this powerful device. Using the cover screen with the main cameras allows me to set up a shot while still being behind the camera, and I can even start video by using gestures or saying key phrases like cheese. Samsung also added this new hand cam mode that mimics the style of classic hand cameras that people use for vlogging and documenting everyday life. Moving on to normal uses though, I haven't experienced any issues. The phone runs smooth as expected and the battery life is pretty decent. I haven't used it long enough to give you an accurate evaluation of the battery life, but based on my experience with the Flip 5, I would probably say you can get around 5 to 7 hours of casual use out of this phone, maybe even more depending on your usage, and then around 4 to 6 hours of heavy usage, but that again depends on your usage. Charging speeds are only 25 watts, but honestly they're good enough in my opinion. Wireless charging is reliable, but do note that it doesn't fit all wireless chargers like the ones in my Tesla, for example. The hinge is sturdy but easy to open and it can sit at any angle, and the screen this year seems to have less of a crease. The crease can definitely grow deeper over time as we have seen with other previous models, so keep that in mind. I personally don't care for the crease though, it hasn't bothered me at all in my 4 years of using these folding phones. The durability this year seems promising. Every year Samsung upgrades the durability of these folding phones, and the Flip 5 was in a pretty good place aside from the screen protector issues. My wife has had the Flip 1, Flip 3, Flip 4, and Flip 5, and they all developed some type of screen protector or screen issue after around 3 to 6 months of ownership. She's pretty gentle with her devices, yet they've all had these issues, and the screen protectors are known for lifting and causing problems. This year the Z Flip 6 has a newly designed screen that should be even stronger and more durable, and the screen protector is also supposed to be better this year. Based on how the device looks and feels, I really want to believe that the durability has greatly improved this year, but I can't make any promises. It's not like durability has ever been terrible on these phones, but the random errors that can occur can be annoying, especially when dealing with Samsung's customer service in Canada. Overall, my thoughts on this topic are, if your screen protector starts lifting, take it into Samsung as soon as possible. And if they can't help you on the spot because they don't have screen protectors available or something like that, but they tell you to keep the screen protector on, I would just safely take it off or stop using your phone until they can help you. If you leave it on and you continue using your phone, the screen protector can pull out your phone screen and damage it further. Otherwise, I would always just recommend getting bonus warranty or insurance when buying a folding phone, regardless of what brand it is, because of the potential issues that may arise and the out of warranty repair fees. Alright, so now let's talk about the cameras. This year the cameras have been upgraded and they're actually in a good place in my opinion. With the Z Flip 6, I feel confident that I can get a pretty good photo in most situations. With previous models, the cameras were just okay and they were kind of mediocre when there was less light, so the Z Flip 6 definitely got a nice upgrade in that regard. Now you have the option of shooting in 50 megapixels for highly detailed images that you can edit and play around with more than the regular 12 megapixel images. Obviously in your day-to-day you're not going to be shooting in 50 megapixels, but it's nice to have that option. The only downside that I've found with these cameras are certain limitations, like not being able to shoot in 4K video when using the cover screen to record a video, and also not being able to do 4K 60 FPS when you're using the main screen with the cover display on at the same time. Despite all the positive things I've said so far, the Z Flip 6 isn't perfect. The first thing that you'll encounter is the fact that you gotta unfold it every single time you want to use it seriously. This isn't exactly a negative, but it's worth noting because it can become annoying for some people. Some people might not use the cover screen as much as others, and therefore they have to open the phone every single time they want to use it. That can be tedious and annoying. The other thing that kind of bothered me in my time with this phone is how high the bezels are on the inside screen. There are many times when I'm just trying to backswipe and it's not working because my finger is sliding across the bezel, and sometimes my finger even gets stuck on the bezel or where the hinge meets the middle of the screen. The new design is really nice like I said, but these raised bezels are pretty questionable, especially in your everyday life with this phone, but maybe it's just me though. However, I still think it's worth bringing up. The next con is that despite having the latest processor, a vapor chamber, and pretty good specs on paper, this phone's performance pales in comparison to other normal smartphones. The performance isn't bad at all, but don't expect to smoothly play the most demanding games at max graphics for more than like 5 to 10 minutes. This phone will throttle its performance down during long play sessions in order to not damage itself from getting too hot. Easier to play games like Pokemon Unite and Wild Rift should be fine for as long as you want to play them. Going on to battery life, it also might be an issue depending on who you are and how you use your phone. Z Flips are very thin and are generally really small compared to other phones, so there's not a lot of room for bigger batteries, hence why they only got to 4000 milliamps this year. So although the battery size increase, it's still not that big compared to other phones out there. But other than these 4 things, I don't really see too many more flaws with this device. Like yeah, the cameras aren't the best, but they've been upgraded this year, which makes me put them in the good enough category. Before I end the video though, let me try to answer the question of who is this phone for. In my opinion, this phone is for 3 kinds of people. The first is people who like cool pieces of technology and like to try new things. If you've never had a foldable but have always wanted to try one, I think this is a good year to hop on. The second kind of person is someone who seeks to have a capable phone yet wants to not be too absorbed into it. The Z Flip series is perfect because you can handle quick tasks on the outside screen when you're busy or not trying to really use your phone, and then open it up to intentionally do things on your phone. Because of how small the cover screen is, you won't want to use it as long as you would with a normal size screen, so it could deter you from using your phone as much as you normally would. The quick access to timers and calendars and other widgets could also be useful in disconnecting but still utilizing the tool that is your phone. The third kind of person is someone who loves to take photos, videos, and create content. The cameras aren't the absolute best in terms of quality, but they're still really good, especially if you have decent to good lighting. The main reason why I think these kinds of people would enjoy this phone is because of all the ways you can utilize the cameras and the hinge. The hinge is basically a built-in tripod that you can use at any moment, and the exterior screen allows for high-quality selfies and properly lined up shots. These features are perfect for vlogging and everyday life photos and videos where you might need help getting certain shots or angles of yourself and others. To close out this video, I'll rank the Z Flip 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. The Z Flip 6 is a major go. Shout out to Fossey Carter. It takes what the previous generations have been building and combines all of that into the most complete Z Flip package we've had yet. It's one of the most versatile folding phones when you think about the software, the size, the good cameras, good battery life, big cover screen, water resistance, and so much more. This wasn't a long-term review, so I can't answer all the questions or tell you how well this phone will hold up in a year, but it does seem very promising this year. But yeah, that's the Z Flip 6 and my review on it. We out. Peace.